something fucking amazing, and I kind of want to go back to it where he goes, "Are you seeing the same things that I'm seeing?"
Great, and I not of yours. There,
Right.
and it wasn't just no.
Scrimmage I'm watching or a point of view.
Great, and I not of yours.
I disagree a
Yeah.
little bit with what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, that's
I
okay.
don't.
Yeah.
I don't think that the head of Israel at this moment is a soulful human being.
That may be true too. I didn't say he wasn't, and I didn't say
Right.
even that he might not be doing what you suggested he might be doing. What I was saying is, even if those things are true, it could also be true that this is the correct policy, which I believe it is.
Mhm.
I think you've gone 11 months to do this. Let's finish it while we're there.
Okay, how does it finish? Tell me that.
How does it finish?
Yes.
Is there a
What do you
is that
see?
you have extirpated enough of Hamas that some other
By the way, when I was gone, I heard Winkler say something fucking amazing, and I kind of want to go back to it where he goes, "Are you seeing the same things that I'm seeing?"
great, and I not of yours. There, and it
Right.
wasn't just no.
Scrimmage I'm watching.
Then you're very morally confused.
I have
Are
to.
you watching the same footage I'm watching?
He's like, it's like, there's nothing else you can say. It's like, are you insane? Like, are you mentally there? Because this is one of the most shocking things. At this point, you have to be deliberately avoiding the truth. You know what I mean? Like, or you just enjoy it. Like, you see the carnage and you enjoy it and you justify it in your mind. Because, like, someone like Bill Maher, I don't think he has not seen what is going on. You know what I mean? Like, I could say that about like some guy who's like, who's the president? I don't know. You know, there's plenty of guys like that out there, right? The undecided voters, the median voter who's like, who's this Trump guy? Tell me more about him. They watch the Aiden Ross stream and go, what's up with this Trump guy? Who is he again? Okay. Maybe there's a guy like that out there, and that guy probably hasn't seen anything. Okay. Like, totally different planet that they're existing on. They do not see a single damn thing. And even if they saw it, they wouldn't understand it. Okay. Bill Maher is not like that guy. He's tapped in. He has producers. He has a show talking about, you know, popular culture. There are things on this planet that are worse than what Israel's doing to the Palestinians, okay? But I don't think any of those instances are as like entitled and as arrogant and as in your face, if that makes sense. No, there are, come on guys, there are horrifying atrocities that occur all around the planet, right? It's just that it's never like this prominently featured and has this level of like protection from the people with the most power. Like Sudan comes to mind, you know what I mean? Rohingya, right? Like there are definitely like higher numbers of people being slaughtered even, right? The difference, however, is that no one looks at that and goes like, oh no, that's actually super cool. We love that shit. Does that make sense? That's what I mean. It's not only being conducted with like our direct involvement in terms of weapons, in terms of our targeting systems, right? In terms of our tax dollars directly subsidizing it, but also like Saudi Arabia and the UAE did a genocide in Yemen, right? Throughout, it started under the Obama administration and absolutely accelerated to its worst degree under the Trump administration. It was the United States backed it. It was our weapons. It was our targeting systems. We did that shit, right? But like, there wasn't this level of like bipartisan consensus on like the continuation of the genocide in Saudi Arabia. Like people would be like, Saudi Arabia is conducting a genocide in Yemen, and people will go, yeah, that's fucked up. Like Bill Maher, I don't think at that point would be like, well, actually, the Ansar Allah administration deserve it because our brave, bold Saudi allies are doing the right thing. Like, it wasn't, like, he would never do that for Saudi Arabia. He'd probably be really conflicted because they're Muslims on both sides. You know, I don't think he cares about the Shia-Sunni divide to that degree. So, like, he would never defend Saudi Arabia. Like, MBS at most could do like a charm offensive and go to the Atlantic and, you know, get positive coverage at Fox News. But he's not like speaking to the American Congress, right? And being like, you know, bow down to me, bitches. I have the oil. Which would make even a little bit more sense because at least like Saudi Arabia has a natural resource that is an absolute necessity for our, you know, continued global dominance. That even makes a little bit more sense if Saudi Arabia got to do that shit, but Israel wouldn't, because like Israel is not a state without the United States of America, but somehow we are still made servile in that moment to Benjamin Netanyahu's grace, you know? But ultimately, for him, or rather for me, the way I look at it is like, it's not only horrifying crimes against humanity that are happening every single day, okay? But it's like not even, like our association with it is so direct, even more direct than Saudi Arabia conducting a genocide in Yemen, right? That's what it is. That's what's like so unique about this predicament. Like at the end of the day, there's this attitude where you're like, well, Saudi Arabia is already a fucking theocratic monarchy, right? Like most Americans don't have a positive opinion of Saudi Arabia. Whereas like most Americans did have a positive opinion of Israel, thought it was a Western democracy, thought it was like, you know, the most moral nation on the planet. So when they try to keep that image up while doing like horrifying things on a daily basis with like pure vitriol, and then you still have motherfuckers who are supposed to be these like adults, these like progressive people, just caping for that kind of death and destruction. It's like genuinely shocking.
You think they are trying to kill civilians?
I think that it is indiscriminate.
That's what war is.
Okay.
War becomes that. There is no war you can name that didn't. Sherman burned Atlanta to the ground.
Yeah, the problem is Israel is a belligerent occupier. There is never a war like this because this is not a war, it's a genocide, dumb fuck. What war do you have where the belligerent on one side literally has the exact zip code and phone number of every single person whose house they're bombing? Like, do you think Americans had that? Do you think Americans had like a way of communicating to the fucking Germans when they were doing Dresden? Like, hey, you need to leave your house. We're going to bomb it. Like they knew every single place where like civilians were living. Do you think that that's what happened? No, because it wasn't, because at most, although that was a war crime, which is why we literally changed the rules for the record after the fact, because they were like, that was not great. What we did there wasn't great. We should probably never do it again. Okay. Which is crazy that people like defend that shit too, which is wild. But like, what is extra crazy in this circumstance is that Israel is not the same as any other version of that, with the exception of the Holocaust. Like, that's it. These are people who are captive. They are held captive in an area that they cannot fucking leave voluntarily. And they're being relentlessly bombed. And the areas that they claim they're not going to bomb, they bomb anyway. And the areas they claim they're not going to bomb, it actually gets smaller and smaller. Oh, Julian Field, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. And even before like the areas got smaller and smaller, they knew exactly where people lived, and they were using AI to target people. And they had an alerting process where a person that this AI has declared a Hamas militant would come home, and they would purposefully kill him and his family when they got home. Okay? There is nothing that you can compare this to. Okay? There's nothing you can compare this to throughout history. There's nothing you can compare this to in modern day. There's nothing you can compare this to throughout history. The Saudi-Yemen conflict isn't really religio-sectarian. The Houthis are Zaidi Shia, which are very close to Sunnis, such that radical Salafists claim that they are Muslim. It's a different Shia sect than what is in Iran, which is Ithna Ash'ari, which radical Salafis view as the worst disbelievers on the planet, since they see them as destroying Islam from within, in their eyes worse than America and Israel law. I know, I wasn't saying that it was a religious conflict. I didn't consider that to be a religious conflict. I was just simply making a joke about Bill Maher not knowing, like, the different sects within Islam or caring about the differences.
Ground.
Right.
And it wasn't just the military people
Right.
he was killing. It's a shame, but again, there's a very simple solution to this. Stop attacking Israel.
Right.
Jews used to know this.
Right. Okay.
Still love you.
I love you.
Okay.
I have
I'm
no
glad we can
judgment
talk.
about your point of view.
Great. And I not of yours.
I just
I don't think he agrees with him at all. Judging by what he said in the first 6 minutes and 42 seconds of this conversation, I think it just seems like he's just trying to stop talking about this.
disagree.
Maybe I'm reading too much into it. That's cowardly from Henry. No, dog. He's like a 70-year-old Hollywood actor. Okay? He is practicing what I wish cops would on a regular basis, called de-escalation. Okay? He noticed at a certain point, I think, around here, when he said, "You must not be seeing the same things I'm seeing," that he was not talking to a man, but a brick wall. And he was like, well, there's not really anything else I can say to a fucking brick wall, a dude who is just psychopathic.
a little bit with what you're saying.
Yeah, that's okay.
I don't think that the head of Israel at this moment is a soulful human being.
That may be true too. I didn't say he wasn't, and I didn't say
Right.
even that he might not be doing what you suggested he might be doing. What I was saying is, even if those things are true, it could also be true that this is the correct policy.
But Bill, of course, does not want to stop. Bill's like, no, let's dive back into it. What did he mean by Jews used to know this? I don't even know what aspect of Hasbara he's engaging in that situation.
Policy, which I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think you've gone 11 months to do this. Let's finish it while we're there.
Okay, how does it finish? Tell me that.
How does it finish?
Yes.
Is there a
What do you
is that
see?
you have extirpated enough of Hamas that some other entity can be brought in to.
Damn. Hasan Nasrallah waiting room. Salafis don't say we are Muslims either, bro. I don't know where you're getting your info from. You're Zaidi. Yes. Normal Salafis don't takfir us, but militant ones do because they even takfir Sunnis. Interesting. Hasan Nasrallah is Ithna Ash'ari, so I'm a little surprised. That being said, see the channel of Asim Al-Hakim. He's the most prominent Salafi YouTube figurehead. He says that as long as you don't believe in infallible imams, Shia still count as Muslim. It totally is just exclusionary towards Ithna Ash'aris. Y'all are fucking nerds, dude. I don't even care about the intricacies this much. I don't think most normal Muslims care about the intricacies of this type of shit. What the fuck? Like I've literally never in my life met a Muslim and just been like, "Oh, are you Shia? What sect of Shia Islam do you believe?" I mean, you can kind of tell if someone is a fucking Salafist. Like you know, there's a vibe, and that's not really a conversation I'm having in any circumstance, regardless. But like beyond that, I don't think anybody fucking gives a shit. You know what I mean? This is normal. These people are losers. This is not normal. Okay. Normal Muslims don't know anything about Islam, though, is also true. But I mean, what normal religious person or not religious person, but still says they're Christian, knows everything about their fucking religion anyway?
To rule that country.
Right.
Because that was always a coiled snake
Right.
right at the foot of Israel.
Right.
You can't live like that.
Right.
Okay? There's only one side in this who wants a two-state solution. That would be at least part of Israel.
For us uneducated, what says what's going on in Gaza right now from the Holocaust? I mean, the only difference is that the numbers. That's it. Like the numbers. That's basically it. The scale of the atrocity. Because the mechanization of the slaughter is identical. Like obviously Germans used concentration camps and like engaged in, like, it's still, I would say what Israel's doing is still industrial scale slaughter. So at that point, it's the difference between like trapping people into and moving them into a camp and killing them inside of the camp versus trapping them in smaller and smaller areas as you like slowly but surely destroy everything around them. It gives a little bit more, it gives an air of like plausible deniability almost in an effort to continue doing it. One, we don't know the true death rate. Two, the Holocaust didn't occur in 7 months. Still, do you think the intent is to exterminate the Palestinian people? Exterminate in the sense of like, do you mean like killing every single Palestinian there? No, I think the intent is to make it as unlivable as possible with potentially, if lucky, a small Bantustan in Gaza that resembles the West Bank inevitably, with a lot of the Palestinians being forcibly moved to the Sinai Desert, like forcible expulsion and displacement. Yeah, industrial murder as a tool of ethnic cleansing. Yes, it would still be ethnic cleansing, but if you're asking about like, which is still genocide, by the way, but if you're asking about like the distinction of like, are they trying to kill every single Palestinian, make it as uninhabitable as possible, with the sole purpose of like moving as many of them as possible when it all is said and done to a different area outside of the Gaza Strip, and then maintain a permanent military occupation in parts that they've destroyed, only to rebuild it and resettle it with Jewish people. The end goal is still absolutely to render the idea of a Palestinian state impossible, which they've already successfully done in the West Bank, at least the way that it looks like right now. And I think that they want to do that in Gaza as well, with the ultimate goal of just like expelling as many Palestinians as possible from the area. They don't want to ruin the land because they want it for themselves. Oh, brother, they are ruining the land. No, they're definitely ruining the fucking land. They don't give a shit. They've done it before. And they don't care about that. So more like a Trail of Tears? Yes. Armenian genocide, Trail of Tears. Like, there are plenty of examples throughout history. I mean, look at this conversation. You got a fucking dude who was raised Catholic telling an old Jewish man what's what about Israel, being like, no, Israel is conducting the most moral affair here, okay? He's like, are you serious? Like, I see dead children on my timeline. It's fucking unimaginably gross. And he's like, shut the fuck up, man. I know better than you. You're wrong. Jews used to know this. Why don't Jews know this? It's like, okay, Bill.
Maybe not everybody in Israel, but that they've certainly offered that many times. Hamas has been very plain. They do not want a two-state solution. They want a solution where all the Jews die. Again, Jews used to be kind of on the page that this is a bad thing. Again, we can disagree.
No, I think the Jews are on the page that it's a bad thing.
Well, you're okay. Let's just say, and I'm not even a Jew.
Right.
But let's just say you're more equivocal about it than I am.
You are an atheist.
Yes.
That's right. Sure.
Yes. And I went and we made the movie Religulous. We spent 10 days in Israel,
Right.
in all over.
Right.
I mean, and it was fascinating and eye-opening, and I'm so glad I did it.
Right.
And
I learned nothing from the experience other than the fact that I am Israel Chai.
Historic.
He's not a Jew, Chad. He's not. Apparently his mother is of Jewish descent, but he was raised Catholic. He's an atheist now, but like, I didn't know this either, to be honest. Like, I did not. I always assumed he was some fucking drunk Irish asshole. Or sorry, his father was Jewish? I thought his mother was.
I also find Israel to be one of the most delicious countries I've ever been to.
you're talking about Gal Gadot?
I'm talking about that great, delicious food.
Oh,
that is
delicious
Israeli.
food. The
delicious
Jews?
food. Yes.
Oh, I missed that.
You did.
I mean, I don't really remember the food. You know,
Bill's like, it was too Arab for my taste. Bill's like, actually, I hated it because I'm that Islamophobic. I'm so Islamophobic that I do not even consider Jewish food to be Jewish food in and of itself. I consider it to be Arab, which is automatically Muslim. I hate it.
You know what I remember so vividly, and it was like, such a.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Yeah, this motherfucker won't even eat Mediterranean food. He's like, Greek food. That seems a little too Arab for my taste. Also, God, Bill Maher is so